morning, parents, and a very good morning. Very good morning, Sampoorna. Thank you for uh, taking the time out and helping us, the Edupathwayz parents, understand the Nayanta offerings. A quick introduction about Sampoorna here. Sampoorna Ghosh is the head of admissions and marketing at Nayanta University. She is an alumna of St. Xavier's College, Kolkata, Mudra Institute of Communications, Ahmedabad, and Ashoka University. She was the founding team at BIT School of Management and has had a corporate career in sales and marketing across a lot of multinationals, including Mattel Toys, Disney, and Viacom 18. And she brings a whole lot of experience across corporate, across education, being a student herself in a lot of very good universities in the country, and now helming and helping one of the emerging universities to firmly establish themselves in the country. So welcome, Sampurna. Over to you.
Rahul. Thank you, Rahul, for the kind introduction. Um, I will quickly just share my screen and thank you everybody for joining in on a Sunday morning. It takes a lot of effort to do that, and we truly appreciate your time. Thank you for the introduction, Rahul. So, without kind of wasting any time, I will try and jump right into Nayanta, the topic that we are here to discuss today. So Nayanta, we are a new university. We launched in January of 2025, so we are not even a year old. And our founding class for the undergraduate program joined us in August 2025. And term one has just gotten over for them. So we are very proud of having the founding class, and we are now extremely excited to recruit the second cohort. So we are building the first few cohorts here at Nayanta. So Nayanta is a university which is based in Pune, and we currently offer a 4-year undergraduate degree program, which culminates into a BA honors or a BSc honors, and this is a full-time residential program based in Pune, as I mentioned, and admissions are currently open. In fact, our deadline for round one is tomorrow, 24th November. The form takes about a day and a half or so to fill. I'll try and give you as much information about the university, and then if you feel like this is the right fit for your child, or if any student is on the call, then you could always start an application and submit it as well in the early rounds. So just to tell you a little bit about the inception of Nayanta, how did we come about, and what's the story and who are the people behind it? So Nayanta was actually founded while we came to life and started breathing as a university in Jan 2025. It had been in the making for about 7 years. And so the likes of Dr. Naushad Forbes is the co-chairperson of the Forbes Marshall Group. So in case you didn't see the first screen, so this is a little bit about what I was talking. And here is the founders. So it started with Dr. Naushad Forbes, and who's the co-chairperson of the Forbes Marshall Group. He's also the chancellor of Nayanta University. He's someone who got his BA, MA, and PhD at Stanford University, taught there for 13 years before he moved back to the country to run his organization, multiple philanthropies, as well as now Nayanta. So he got into a conversation when he was the president of CII with Chris Gopal Krishnan, who was the co-founder of Infosys, and they were both CII presidents successively, and there they kind of figured that there was a need for leaders in this country who were going to be able to look beyond the silos of their domains. So if you were leading a department, the idea was that can they look at it a little bit more holistically, from not only problem solving for, say, a marketing problem or an engineering problem, but also looking at it from a sociological point of view, an environmental point of view, a country and a global point of view. So all of those things they felt like was lacking and was going to be able to be met if the education right at the outset, at the undergrad level, was far more wider before the students kind of started getting specialized. in their own streams, and also the ability to be able to specialize in multiple things across domains and not just one silo. So that was the germ of the idea and the thought, and they could have done it themselves, but they said, how about we go around the block and talk to more like-minded people and see if they would want to do it together, so that way they could build something for India, from India, that outlasts all of us, but like for the solid long run, 500 to 1,000 years. And that's the vision. So that's how the likes of, Meher Padamji from Thermax, Nadir Godrej of Godrej Industries, Satish Reddy of Dr. Reddy's lab, Farhad, of course, of Forbes Marshall as well, Bharat of Pidlite and Mondelez, and the likes of Dr. Ashok Mishra, who's been one of the longest serving directors of IIT Bombay. All of them and more, as you can see them on my screen, have come together to form this university, and been in talks for over 7 years consistently every month, to kind of bring this to shape and life. But when you then come into a university, if you're a student or a parent, then one of the questions is that, okay, the founders are perhaps one step removed. Who's the leadership that is running the university? And who are we going to be dealing with on a daily basis as students, parents, faculty, etc.? And so I already talked about Dr. Naushad Forbes. He's our chancellor. But then our vice chancellor is Dr. Ranjan Banerjee. Dr. Banerjee he's also someone that is an alumni of IIT Bombay, IIM Calcutta, got his PhD from the US, has had a very long corporate career, but then he was also the dean of the SPGen IMR School of Business. So it's the business school that he ran for about 5.5 years as its dean, and in his time is when the school went on to be one of the top 5 institutions in the country in an MBA, in the Financial Times rankings. And then from there he went on to be the founding dean of the BIT School of Management in Mumbai, set that up, and now he's joined us as our vice chancellor, founding vice chancellor here at Nayanta. Moving on to Dr. D. Parthasarthi. Dr. Partha is one of India's leading sociologists, also researches in the space of sustainability and climate change. He is somebody that has been one of the key figures that started the HSS department at IIT Bombay, as well as the School of Public Policy. So he's had a tenure in IIT Bombay, and now he's joined us as the Dean of Academics and Professor. Followed by Ms. Aniha Brar. She's somebody that was also had a corporate career in her early days, and then she moved on to she's dabbled in 3 careers, but she was in the founding team of the Young India Fellowship, which preceded the formation of the Ashoka University. And then subsequently, she was there when Ashoka was formed. Last, in her 14-year tenure at Ashoka, she left last year as the Dean of the Young India Fellowship. She was my dean when I was a fellow, and now we get to work as colleagues in building Nayanta together. Mr. Ashish Gupta is somebody that is also an IIT-IIM alum, but who went on to become an IPS officer. So he's somebody that has led the police force across the country, been the director of security for the Prime Minister's office under Dr. Manmohan Singh, led peace missions for India with the UN all around the world, was last DGP Uttar Pradesh Police before he took early retirement in June this year to come and join us and build this university with us. So the reason why I'm talking about all of them is to say that they're extremely credible people. They are people who are there on campus every single day. These are people who have built some of the better institutions in the country. Them plus a lot of our founding team members in the staff and the faculty are also people that are experienced in building some of the better institutions in the country. And so we are extremely passionate about doing this with Nayanta now together. I will quickly jump into the most logical question is that this is a 4-year program. So what is it that is, within the program, and how are the 4 years shaped? So the unique thing about Nayanta is when the students come into the program, they do not have to pick a major or a minor. They have to just enroll into the UG program. And then for the first 16 months, everybody goes through the same set of subjects across arts, sciences, management, and technology. What we hence call is a very balanced curriculum spread over 16 months in cultural literacy and technical literacy. So what we mean by cultural literacy is art sciences, management, and tech in terms of, uh, computer science and AI and data science and all of that, but also technical literacy as a horizontal across all domains. So even say in the domain of psychology or economics or history, there's a lot of tech involved today, and so the students should be able to kind of be familiar with the tech tools and have some level of literacy in tech across all the domains as a horizontal, and that's something that we're building in. I'd like to talk about two more things, especially that start in the foundation but go on for the 4 years. So there's a communication and writing program that all the students go through, and this is something that is developed and taught by Miss Aniha Brar. She's also someone that had developed the critical writing program at the Young India Fellowship, and so she's currently teaching it. And the unique thing about that is right from term one, they are not only learning about anything under the sun, from academic writing to email writing to fiction, non-fiction, as well as all forms of communication, but also encouraged to use AI in a way, in the most effective way. So we want to build the human AI interface very early, to say that, to harp the fact that criticality and creativity is their own. So if they take an assignment home and they use AI to write all of it, they will come back and they'll be like, no, these are not your thoughts. So they are pushed to think, they're pushed to be creative and to be critical themselves, use their own minds. And then a lot of the mundane stuff of summary writing, bullet pointing, refining your thoughts is something that AI can do for you and make a lot of the repetitive tasks simpler. And so that's something that's built in. And then lastly, one of the things I wanted to talk about is the Nayanta Compass. The Nayanta Compass is something which is a personal development program. It is developed by Dr. Leena Chatterjee and Dr. Brajesh Bajpai. They're some of India's leading faculty in psychology, in organization behavior, and coaching. And what happens is, in the 4 years, this is something that runs parallelly alongside the coursework, the academic work, and every student goes through this program, wherein in the first year they get to learn about themselves. The second year, this mentor, so they're mapped with a personal mentor, and then in the second year they work towards decisions on majors and minors. In the third year they work towards decisions on career tracks, and I will tell you a little bit more as to why it's important at that juncture. And third year, it's about life, higher education, and jobs after the program. So that's the fourth year. So it's the 4-year journey where every student has a mentor to work with in a structured manner, to kind of foresee all the decisions that might cause anxiety or cause confusion, and how can we solve for them as we go along. So after they go through the foundation, in year 2, term 5, we follow a trimester system. So the second term of year 2 is when they have to pick their majors and minors. And these are all of the majors that we offer at the moment alongside the minors. So everybody can scale down all of these majors to a minor. And in addition to that, we also offer 6 minors. So which means that 10 majors and an option of up to 16 minors are available. So computer science, mathematics, sustainability studies lead to majors in all of these subjects lead to BSc degrees, and economics with a double major in maths leads to a BSc degree, and with any other combination such as political science or sociology would lead to a BA degree. And in addition to that, in the liberal arts spaces, we offer psychology, political science, history, sociology, of course, literature and media studies, philosophy as well. And the point of this is that it is all very flexible, which means that students who do the same kind of majors may have very different career tracks as well, and that is how the combination determines how they do that. So we don't want to put them in silos, right? So for example, I give an example of economics maths with data science could lead to a certain kind of profession, whereas eco math and finance could lead to a more banking, consulting, IB kind of track. Similarly, econ with political science and public policy could lead to a whole other domain. Similarly, that applies to those that want to build careers in media studies or literature or psychology. One thing to note is our psychology program at the moment is a PA program. We do not offer cognitive sciences and neurosciences. So if that's an area of interest, so in about 2 years we'll be able to introduce those fields as well. Our minors are very thoughtfully curated to ensure that it does help in the pivot that is required with the same major to go into different career tracks. And hence we offer entrepreneurship, innovation, data science, public policy, science, tech, society, as well as finance. Next thing is the real world experience. So something that we know is that students often struggle in the first job once they get there, as to they think this is what I want to do. I did struggle for the first year where I thought this is my place, and it was a really big organization. I moved cities, and then I was like, oh my god, culturally this is not what I where I want to be. And so the early exposure that you get to all kinds of domains, the better you are in terms of making decisions as to where do I fit well. And hence we've kind of thought that through. So there's a total of about 8 months of career immersions built in into the 4-year program. It starts with 3 immersions in 3 sectors. So all of the students from year 2 to year 3, this is again compulsory alongside your major minor courses, you go through courses which are called Introduction to Government, Introduction to Corporate, Introduction to Social, with a faculty in class. And in that term long course, there is a 1-month immersion built in with an organization in that sector that is working towards a certain problem, right? And so you get that real world project to work on while you have a mentor from the company or the organization. You also have the opportunity to bring it back to class, workshop it with your faculty and your peers. So there's a lot of theory and practice merging and learning that is happening simultaneously in the early years. And we have a full-time career services team that brings these opportunities to our students, so they are not expected to go out and look for themselves. And after they have an early exposure to all of the 3 sectors, that is when we want them to now tell us what is the sector of their choice. And hence they have 2 options. One is towards the end of year 3 or at the beginning of year 4. They can pick the term when they want to go and do their 5-month internship, but now they are expected to go do a full 5-month internship in a sector of their choice. We bring the organizations to them. They have to crack the interviews. But this is a full-on project with objectives, outcomes, a full-time work. And what 2 outcomes can happen from it? They can either love it. The organization can love them and offer them a job, so they come back, graduate, and they can always go back and work. But they may also then realize that this is not for me. It's not something I like, and that's okay because they're still a student. They can come back and work with career services to find the right path for them henceforth. So after graduation, the chances of success increase. And even if they want to kind of go into masters or any other path after that, they will have at least known what seems to be working, what doesn't seem to be working for them in the career space, which is a huge advantage because even MBA internships are only 2 months to this day. So So there's that. However, if there are students who are very very focused on research route, then we will ensure that instead of the internship, should they choose, then they can do an independent research project with the faculty, where there will be field work, there will be a 10 to 12,000 word thesis that they will have to write, present, and defend in that time, because it's 5 months. So these are all the organizations that have already signed up with us to give our students internships and placements. At the heart of it all is the Confederation of Indian Industry. So CII is sort of where it all started, and so we have a strategic partnership with the CII, which enables us to open our doors to thousands of organizations in the country and the world. And our career services team works towards building those relations and ensuring that all of these organizations can come and recruit from us. So when you're trying to build a world-class, curriculum and pedagogy, it's very, very important that the professors that deliver it are also just as good and top-notch and as global in their mindsets as can be. So I've already talked about our deans and our chancellor and vice chancellor, but we have another set of faculty full time. So the first two rows on my screen from the left are full time faculty, and we have another 5 or 6 joining us between December to April. These are people who are Erasmus fellows, who are Fulbright fellows, who have taught at Brown, taught at University of Washington, University of Vanderbilt, at Oxbridge, studied at UC Berkeley, and so on and so forth, and have actually quit all their jobs all over the world, especially in the US, and moved full-time to Pune to teach our students right here at Nayanta. And in addition to that, so these are people you get a lot of face time with, not only inside but also outside the classroom. And in addition to that, we have a stellar lineup of visiting faculty, and this is just a glimpse. So we have professors coming from the London School of Economics. Actually, Dr. Anjani Kocher, who is an adjunct faculty at Stanford, she's already come and done a guest lecture with our students because she was here on a research project, and she'll be coming back to teach a full term as well. So Dr. Dinesh Mehta, Dr. Leena Chatterjee, Manish Agarwal. So these are some of the better faculty handpicked from all over the world, and this is just a glimpse. You can always go back and check our website for the full list. So this is our campus. We are currently in Bavdhan in Pune. We always encourage students and parents to come and visit us. We always have campus doors open. We also do open days once a month, and it's going to be the December schedule. It should be on our website coming week, and we encourage you to come visit us and check it out. It's very green. It's about 15 acres with 6.5 acres of built up, and this is just a little bit of a glimpse into what we've done with it now, because it was built in the 80s by a renowned architect called Christopher Benninger. So we've modernized it, tech enabled it, air conditioned it, so it's just as comfortable for 2025. This is our hostel building, which is in Barker. So we provide buses, a bus service for our students to come from the residence to the campus and back and forth. The rooms, as you can see, the building is fully air conditioned. The rooms are 300 square foot triple sharing rooms with lots of storage space. There's a dining hall, but there's also a pantry facility on every floor. Boys and girls on different floors, access controlled. As you can see, it's only in the common spaces that they can meet and do their assignments and play games and things like that. There is a reading room, an infirmary, and dining hall, as I mentioned, as well as a performing arts space and a gym, all in the hostels. We also have an infirmary, performing arts studio, maker studio, library, all of that in the campus. So who can apply? Once you're in class 12, you can, or if you have already written class 12 last year or so, you could apply as well. It's a fairly simple 3-step process. So the first step is the application. As I was mentioning, the deadline for round 1 is tomorrow. It's our early decision round. Whoever applies in this round and makes it through the process gets a chance to have an offer within December 2025. So that is something that we encourage you to do. The application form, we are only largely not only looking at the class 10 scores, but also any extracurricular activities that they may have, and a few other essays that we request them to write. It is a space where we want to get to know you. We want to get to know how curious you are. Any stories beyond just, typical extracurriculars for which we have certificates, any stories which go beyond, any failure you had, any struggle you faced in learning at home, in school. We want to get to know those things about you so that we can understand your full personality a little bit better. We ask you to then take an aptitude test, which is online from your home center, or the school, however you feel fit. We open a window to do this, and it's basic verbal numerical reasoning and one very short on the spot essay, which is 150 words. So it's about 1 hour 20 minutes or so. And then if you make it through, if you pass this test, then you go into the personal interview round, which is a free flowing conversation. We do not put this child on the spot. We are not asking any GK questions. We want to select, we run a process of selection. We want to look for the things that you have and not for the things that you don't have. What is extremely important is to be aware of the essays you write on the form, which are also only 200 words or 300 words long. But that the interviewers read that, and that becomes the start of the conversation. So we encourage you to kind of know about that. Our admission process is an affirmative process, so it's a merit-based process, and but we are a need-aware institution, which means up to the point where you are submitting your application, we don't want to know whether you need funds to support your education at Nayanta. So only after you get an offer, you come and tell us that you need financial assistance, and that is when the financial aid team takes over, and all of the paperwork and assessment from the need point of view starts then. We have 80 to 100% scholarships for students that come from a certain context where they need the full support in terms of their economical backgrounds. However, we also have 20 to 50% tuition fee scholarships in the form of financial aid. And so we do encourage parents to apply. If you think that you may qualify, then just apply and see what comes back. It might just help you in supporting the education. So this is the timeline. As I mentioned, round 1 is open. Decisions will be by the end of December. Round 2 then will be open until January 19th, and decisions for that also should be out by mid-Feb or before the end of Feb, which means when you're writing your board exams or are just about to begin your board exams, we hope to be able to share the decisions with you. And and classes will commence in August. The total fees, including residence, food, tuition, everything, all inclusive, is about 12 lakhs per annum, and it typically goes up by 5 to 8% per annum depending on the year and the inflation. So from last year to this, we are only increasing it by not by 5%, a little less than 5%. So we take that call, the board takes the call, and then but we say that it's 5 to 8% to be fair. This is how everyone can reach us. And now I'll stop, and we can take any questions we may have from the parents.
Thank you so much for that very elaborate but very pointed information. I think you've answered a lot of questions which parents might have. I have one or two, but I'll hold on if parents want to ask anything. Otherwise, I'll move on with the question. So, parents, if you can raise your hands, anything and everything that you want to know about this completely new, less than 1 year old, but seems to be very promising university. So, yes, we have a hand raised somewhere. No? Yeah, yeah. Vidya Rajesh Nayak, if you can please go ahead and ask your question. If you can unmute and ask your question, please.
Good morning. Thank you for the presentation. And I had a couple of queries. One is, how many full-time faculty do you have?
Yes, right now we have, as on date, we have 10, and that's going up to about 16 in by April next year. So they're all joining in a staggered manner. So in the founding class, we had about 30 students. We are going to have another 100 odd in the next cohort. The plan is to keep it small. We don't intend to scale very fast, very big. And so the faculty to student ratio on campus is very healthy at all times.
Okay, thank you. And
Yeah.
any sports facilities you have on campus?
Yes, I'm glad you asked. So we do have a football and cricket turf on campus. We also have a volleyball field. We do have table tennis and indoor sports. We do have in terms of what we don't have yet is a full-fledged tennis and badminton court and so on and so forth. But this is our interim campus. So the 15 acres campus that I showed you, as well as the hostel, these are our interim spaces. So we are here for another 2.5, 3 years, and we are moving to about an 80-acre campus in about that time. So in maximum 3 years time, and sometime next year by April we should be able to show you that space and what that looks like, and that will have all of the facilities as well that you think of. In the interim, we are providing a tie-up with local sports facilities, which enable our students to then go and have access to tracks for running, we do have a triple jumper actually in our founding class, and so he does need access to athletics facilities as well as swimming and things like that. So that's something. So it's not like the students don't have access, it's just that everything in one space will be there in about 2 to 3 years.
And you will compete in inter-college sports and all as a team.
100%. It's very encouraging.
All that.
Yeah. The cricket and football and TT, though they are already practicing all the time, and it happens. So this is my second university that I've been in the founding team of. In this exact same trajectory I've seen in the previous one also. So the first year they kind of try to find their footing, and by the time they go into second, third year, by the time the second and third batches come in, they're already winning inter-college tournaments, and it's a very proud moment for everybody, and we absolutely encourage it.
Where is this 80-acre campus coming?
It's coming up closer to the Bombay-Pune highway. So if you know Baner in Pune, then it's about 50 minutes from there towards Bombay.
Okay, 50 minutes from Bombay. Okay.
I'll come back to you, Vidya Rajesh Nair. We'll just take questions from Alad Mahajani also. So we'll have ample opportunities for questions. Yes, Mr. Alad Mahajani, if you can go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. I was interested in knowing whether SAT score is considered for entrance or how is it?
Thank you for asking that question. That's a very good one. So the SAT, if you have an SAT score, they can always fill it in the application form, submit the score in, and let us know. So under the academic achievement sort of section or the co-curricular section, what that means is that we then, if it's good enough, then they get an edge in the process. However, every student needs to write the Nayanta aptitude test as well. It's about an hour long. One of the reasons, I'll just quickly say it, is that we want to keep the admission process accessible. We are trying to build an affirmative process, which means that if you put the SAT as one of the determining factors for entrance, then a lot of other students who don't have access to the SAT may lose out. And we believe India has talent everywhere. And I'll tell you a little bit about the founding class to justify that. And secondly, but it doesn't mean that those that have taken the SAT and have done well, that should go to waste. We do, take that into account and ensure that they do get an edge in the process if they've done well. And thirdly, it is important for everyone to take the NET, is because, that just builds the kind of uniformity that we need in the process, right? Otherwise, I won't be able to evaluate every student at the same level, and that won't be fair to everybody. So those are some of the reasons why. But sure, we are a College Board affiliated university, and if you have the score, do submit it. It helps the student in the admission process.
Sure.
Okay. Can I have one more question?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So now in the selection process, what is the weightage given for academics, extracurricular activities, and say sports, say achievements? Is
So
there a kind of weightage which is
sports
normally
is a
considered?
part of extracurriculars. No college will give away the weightage to you, sir. However, I can tell you that we value everything equitably. So I'll tell you what are the things that we look at. We look at the class 10 scores. We look at any kind of co-curricular achievements. So the SAT would become that. So academic achievements are looked at. We also look at extracurricular achievements like your sport, music, theater, dance, all of that. And then we also look at the essays that they write, right? So because over there, we are asking them about their values, their interests, what are they curious about, those kinds of things. And that's an opportunity for them to talk a little bit beyond things they have done versus things they have experienced. So if they've gone through a certain failure or a hard time in school and learned a certain subject, or taught someone in the neighborhood or done any volunteering work, etc., so they can talk about it in those essays which we don't have certificates for, and the experiences also count. Lastly, so then after that, the aptitude test is a pass fail test. So we are not looking at incentivizing anybody for doing extremely well in that test. What we are saying is that you pass the test, that is the criteria to go interview with our panelists. The interview, we are looking at how curious they are in the fields and domains that they claim to be curious about. How hungry are they to learn, and how resilient are they? So in that, we are essentially just, so we really appreciate inch wide, foot deep kind of knowledge. So if they say that I'm sort of really, really keen on Harry Potter or gaming or physics or calculus, whatever that choice is, or geopolitics, whatever that is, then we try and kind of have the line of questioning in that area of interest. And that is when, if they truly know and if they truly like that area and they're not coached to give answers, then in a 20 to 30-minute conversation, they also kind of come out fairly strong in that. And we allow them to interview with us, beyond English. So if they want to do English or Marathi, so the language preference on the form that they give, we try and map them with interviewers where they can speak in a language beyond English also. That enables them to kind of open up a little and not worry so much about finding words in a moment in the interview. So we then evaluate all of this in a very equitable manner. Some things are a little bit more weighed than others, but they are equitably weighed. And then the decision comes for offer, wait list, or rejection. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah. Alhad, is there any other question you would want to shoot before I go back to Vidya Rajesh Nair? Please unmute, Alhad.
Yeah. No. Fair enough. Thank you so much for an elaborate answer. That solves
Thank-
the problem. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And just you said you have a schedule for campus visits, and which is on the site, and for December it would be declared soon, right? That is what.
Yes, this week we'll declare the dates we've fixed. I think it's mid-December. It's 14th or 15th December, as far as I remember. So the team will, because tomorrow is our deadline, so we are just working towards, helping students finish their applications. And sometime day after tomorrow or so, we will have all of the events pushed out on the website, so you can always follow us on our socials, but also the website is the first stop where on the events page we put up all of the events open for the month, and you can pre-register and come visit us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Vidya Rajesh Nair, if you can go ahead, please, if you have any other questions.
Just wanted to, so the campus that is coming up, the 80-acre campus, by when would it be functional approximately?
In about 3 years, as I said. So we are, we have it right now, and we are just building it up so to give you some context, it has some built up. It's already built up largely, and we just need to attune it to our needs as Nayanta. And so that work is what will start next year, early next year. And so 2.5 years is what we predict is what will take us to move in to that campus.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is meant to be very beautiful. There's water bodies and hills and stuff, so it's very green and very beautiful.
Sure. I liked your, the way you have structured the 1 month internship and the 5 month internship. I thought that was, a very well done in terms of hands-on experience. What I wanted to also understand is because my son is interested more, in starting his own venture, more entrepreneurship driven. Would you have any initiatives or, incubation, something to help people who are looking at that?
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought that up because I'll answer that in two parts. The first part is that all of our students, so design thinking is a core course, right? And Dr. Banerjee, who's our vice chancellor, he's actually a legend when it comes to design thinking in India. He teaches it to our undergrads. So we just concluded term 1 and they have their assessments this week. But the design thinking part 1, that course, their presentations were just last week. And that is where they are encouraged to find a problem in society and kind of come up with a solution and build the first step of a venture in that space. And so there are a group of students that went to Kolhapur. So they wanted to kind of say that if Prada could take the Kolhapuri chappal, then why can't we? We are in Maharashtra. We should try and see how can we work with artisans and build a product and a brand of our own. And so they already have the prototype that they want to build. They've gone to Kolhapur, they've met artisans, they've done some groundwork, and so that's stage 1 of that business. And whereas some are working towards the dropout rates of girls in schools in Maharashtra, and why is that happening? And they are also talking to students, and some are working in the elder care space and things like that. So that's step 1. So it's a very structured program. It goes on for a year in 4 parts, where the first step is to identify the problem, and do enough research and figure out what is your problem statement and what are you trying to do with it. The second, in term 2, they work towards prototyping. In term 3, they work towards, taking it to market and things like that. So, and that alongside our founder network, right, is something that we are hoping that, the idea is that we are going to be able to bridge those gaps, mapping them, because Naushad actually was here for all of the presentations. He was there for 3 hours talking to each one of them, giving them ideas, learning from them, all of that. And so that's the idea. So it's a very structured way of doing it. And that's just one line of business. We offer entrepreneurship as a minor. And so we already have a student in the founding class. He's been on Shark Tank. He's only 18. He's building a venture in wearable tech for gig workers to help them with climate change. So he wants to sort of do a double major in computer science and sustainability studies and do a minor in entrepreneurship so that he can take that route as an entrepreneur in that specific domain. And the idea is at Nayanta, we are not looking at building departments, right? So back in our time, colleges had a department of economics, a department of entrepreneurship, etc. We want to build centers of excellence, right? And so entrepreneurship and innovation as a center of excellence is in the pipeline. And we have Chris as one of our founders, in fact, who was the co-founder of Infosys, and many more of them. And so that's in the cards, and that's something that we are planning to do. So definitely, I am really invested myself in the Kolhapuri venture. So I have been trying to do, a lot of talking with the students and see how can they do better. But they're under really good supervision as well with Dr. Banerjee and everyone on the team. So that's definitely something that's on the cards and absolutely possible and viable.
Right. Thank you. So it's the faculty team sort of supports them in whatever. So even if they have an existing thing that they're working on, the faculty would be open to supporting them.
Yeah. So my current student who is working on his startup alongside the studies, which means he has sleepless days and nights, but he's pulling through. So we do support him. So whenever he needs support or on his own venture, that's something that's absolutely encouraged. The other thing is we do have a lot of, through our founder network as well as through the internship partners, we have access to, and the CII, we have access to a lot of organizations out there, and a really solid network of entrepreneurs or people that we can actually just do one-on-one mapping with, to kind of help the students. Currently this particular student, he already has mentors, so I think some I don't want to name the brand, but they are he is being mentored by like a really big brand, startup brand, that is based in Delhi, and they encouraged him to join this program actually. So there's that, but also we are able to do that very simply, and that's one of the reasons of keeping the class size small also. So if you have 500-600 students, you're not going to be able to do the one-on-one learning as much. You can only do it when you are able to do justice to the individual attention and growth of every child, and that's something that we are very committed to.
Right. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Vidya.
Sure. Thank you so much for those questions and those elaborate answers. Any parents have any other questions before I just ask the final question? I think we've overshot the time, but I hope Sampurna, it's okay if we take a few more of minutes of the
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So no other parent here. So essentially, what is the differentiator? If you can, give it in a nutshell, what is it that makes Nayanta different from a whole host of hundreds of universities which have come up in the country over the last decade?
Yes, thank you for the question, Rahul. So first of all, we believe that there is ample space for a lot of good new universities to coexist in India, because the demand is far higher, the need is far higher than what the current lot of universities cater to. So there's a lot of space in the market. However, some things that we do differently at Nayanta, number one would be the foundation that we teach, as I was mentioning, is a balance of not only art, science, management, but also technical literacy. So the right balance of cultural and technical literacy is what we feel is the need of the hour, and that is what is going to help the students that eventually have 3 to 5 careers. I mean, I've had 3, I don't know how many more I have. So anybody that graduates in the 2030s is probably going to have 6 or 7. So when they have those many careers, the ability to be able to pivot with the right tools is very essential, and tech literacy is what is going to be the game changer, and that's why we are building that human AI, the right effective human AI interface from the get-go. No point in running away from it. It's the order of the day. Secondly, I think what I also wanted to talk about was the real world exposure that we build into the program. We are perhaps the only BA honors or BSc honors program that enables students to get a 3+5, a total of 8 months kind of exposure in all 3 sectors. Right. So it is not only focused towards corporate, but also social and government, because that's a space where students struggle as well. And we don't want to kind of stereotype a program or a school saying that, this school is for this and that school is for corporate and that school is for government. It's you can learn and coexist in the same space, and it's just about interest areas, and they should be able to think for themselves and figure out where they want to go. The third thing is the individualized attention that I was talking about, and a large part of that is the Nayanta Compass, where one-on-one mentorship structured over the 4 years with know yourself, decide your majors, minors, decisions on careers, as well as decisions, helping with decisions and tools to for the life ahead with respect to higher ed jobs and life, is kind of structured and given in as a part of the program alongside the classroom hours. And then, of course, the kind of faculty that we bring in, the sort of pedagogy that we want to bring is truly world class, and that's already happening in our classrooms. I just gave a small example of design thinking. And so, in fact, there's a course on literature, art and music, and our professor Srinivas Reddy, he teaches it. He is himself a PhD from UC Berkeley. he was teaching at Brown before this, and he's come here and he asked them to write a haiku, and the kids went into all sorts of green spaces on campus, and one of them actually climbed a tree. So she sat on top of the tree in peace and she wrote her haiku. So all of this is kind of something that is encouraged. It's not just classroom rote learning that we want to encourage them. We want to create the right kind of learning environment with care that enables them to push for the right kind of insights, and come up with that themselves. And lastly, we take a lot of pride in our affirmative admission process. We do believe that talent across India lies in all pockets, across socioeconomic as well as geographic diversity of India. In my class of 30, in the founding class, we have students from Uttarakhand, we have students from Assam, we have students from interiors of Karnataka and Maharashtra, and we have students from metro cities like Delhi, Gurgaon, Calcutta, Bombay, Pune, Bangalore, and so on and so forth. And that's the kind of mix that we want to create. We want to make education accessible to those that deserve it. And mind you, they all that's why we said that the admission process is merit based and need aware. So nobody gets any exception in the process. Everyone goes through the same process, emerges with an offer, and then and then they come into the program. And so those are some of the things that creating a class that is reflective of India is something that is truly important to us. And like Dr. Banerjee talks about, the Indian cricket team really started doing well around the time that Saurav Ganguly and MS Dhoni became captains, was when it started being a true representation of India and not just players from Bombay, Delhi, or Bengal. And when you got the kids from Punjab and Ranchi and, from down south, is when the team really stood the ground and started doing well internationally. And so that's the sort of, commitment that we want to have at Nayanta in terms of the talent that we bring in. So those are some of the differentiators in a nutshell.
Awesome. Thank you so much for, again, a very elaborate but a very pointed response, Sampoorna. Looks exciting, and a lot of parents who are not able to join in today, I hope they benefit from the recording that we're going to put up on our YouTube channel later on. Thank you so much, Sampoorna, and thank you, parents, for attending. We'll continue to invite more universities, more new age universities to come in and share their experiences. So stay tuned over here. Have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rahul. Really appreciate it. And thanks to everyone for your questions and your time. Thanks a lot. Have a happy Sunday. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.